All right, so we're just gonna push down and watch the magic happen. Today, I'm gonna show you how to make cold brew coffee at home the easy way. The concept is very simple. You steep coffee grounds in water overnight, and voila! You have cold brew coffee. But there are some things that you might find useful before making this at home. Beyond the basics of using a good brand and going for fair trade, for the actual coffee itself, you want a medium grind. Even better if you can grind it from home or from somewhere on the day of. We're brewing the beans, but essentially the oils as well. I tend to go for a local independent company or one who roasts in-house. Some would say that cold brew is a less acidic coffee, and I would say that's true. I'm not a scientist by any means, but from experience and from my friends' feedback, cold brew sits better on the stomach and doesn't give that reflex sort of thing. We're essentially making a strong, concentrated shot. And my method is even stronger in flavor than a shot of espresso. And probably more caffeine too, because it's a concentrate. Even though it's called cold brew, we actually want to use room temperature water and filtered if possible. And be sure to give yourself enough time to brew, anywhere between 12 to 24 hours. So I've tried a lot of different cold brewing methods, but I have a favorite. This is the OXO Cold Brewing System. And believe me, if you drink a lot of cold brew coffee like me and my friends do, you definitely want to invest into something like this. It's pretty straightforward, easy to clean, and packs away pretty well in the cupboard. Now you can also use things like a French press, but it doesn't really give that blooming effect for the coffee, and it doesn't have that gravitational pull when you're actually extracting the concentrate. So just bear that in mind. But of course, there are a lot of really great companies out there that have amazing cold brew systems. This is just the one that I will be showing you how to do cold brew today. So let's whip up some fresh coffee grounds and explore this device a little bit before we start daydreaming about our iced brew. I've got a bag of whole beans from a local UK roaster, and these are a blend of Brazil and Indonesia with light to medium roast. And it says the notes on these beans will be honey, milk chocolate, and caramel, also known as caramel for my American friends. I actually found this brand because I went to a local coffee market here in the UK, and I talked specifically to the staff members saying that I needed something for a cold brew, and this is what they recommended. So I'm really looking forward to trying it. Wow, this is gonna be amazing. When we're grinding these coffee beans, we're looking for weight, okay? So 10 ounces, 283 grams, but if need be, you could do 3.5 cups, but better to go by weight. So I've got my scale here, and I'm basically just going to be grinding it in this. This is just a simple, very small coffee grinder, herb grinder, nut grinder, and I'm just gonna be continuously adding it to get the weight that I need. All right, so here we go. Now, because this coffee grinder is so small, and I'm probably gonna be using this entire bag, I'm gonna go ahead and speed up this process for you. In order to get the correct weight, I have my scale here. I'm just gonna put an item on top and hit the tare button. All right, I have it on grams and it says 0. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep going back and forth until I get the correct weight of 283 grams. And we'll just go again. Any of these like random big beans that definitely didn't blend at all, I'm just gonna throw back in here. Okay. All right, so we're at 166 grams, so we're almost halfway there. All right, I'm at 293, but you know what? It's okay because it's only 10 grams over. It's not gonna make or break the flavor, but I would err on the side of having more than having less, especially if you want that really, really concentrated brew. So probably at this point you can understand how the weight of something definitely is different than just having the volume of it like in a cup measurement. The weight gives a more accurate reading for us being able to brew the exact quantity of the concentrate that we want. So if you do have a scale and you are able to do it that way, that would be more beneficial for doing this recipe. Okay, so we are ready to start our cold brew. First, we just want to make sure that the jug is on top and this is on the up and off position. We've got our pre-measured coffee grounds and we're going to go ahead and put them in. Just like that. Just going to flatten them out, even them a little bit like that. Next, we're going to put this rainmaker on top, like so. Okay, for the water step. Now I've pre-filtered a bunch of water just so you guys don't have to sit around waiting for water to be filtered. And I have this handy dandy jug, which gives me a lot of different conversions. But just for you, and so what you know exactly how much water that you need, it's gonna be 40 ounces or 1,136 milliliters or 5 cups. And no, I don't know all that stuff off the top of my head. I look it up beforehand for you. Although I wish that I could actually. Maybe one day I'll be able to just know all these measurements. Okay, so let's go. Just about there. For this next step, it's important to do it in a slow, circular, even movement. Wow, in the time that I've poured this water, the volume of the coffee looks like it's almost doubled. Now that's not because it's soaking up all the water per se, it's actually doing what's called blooming. So it's where the coffee releases all of the carbon dioxide before it starts absorbing all of the water. And this is actually a really important process that needs to be done in order for you to get a really good, strong, concentrated, and very tasty cold brew. So when we added the water, it caused the coffee to expand and you're gonna see it start bubbling in just a second. And this is what we call blooming. And as I mentioned, it's because of the release of carbon dioxide. This is a really important step that needs to occur before the grounds can fully saturate and begin to actually brew. So I just saw an air bubble there. So cool. This is just one of those really fun activities. It's kind of like a science experiment, if you will. It's just cool to look at it and kind of know the process that it's occurring. A lot of people think that coffee is just really basic, but there's actually a lot of interesting things about it. So depending on the type of coffee that you have and the level of grinding that you gave to the beans, this step could take up to 10 minutes for it to fully bloom. So I would say just set a timer and come back in 10 minutes just to be on the safe side. If you're liking this video so far, please do me a favor and click that like button below. It just helps the video to get ranked on YouTube is all. Thanks so much. This 10-minute process is finished, so we want to remove this top part and gently stir in all of the coffee. So you can definitely feel how the top half is a little hard, and then as you go down, it becomes a lot more liquidy. And also as I'm stirring it, I'm seeing a lot of foam on the top, like a crema, if you will. So just gonna stir that all in there. All right. I'm just gonna put the top back on for safety, make sure nothing falls in overnight, and we're all set. So I prefer to leave mine for a full 24 hours. That will guarantee me a really, really strong concentrated brew. But of course you could always do maybe 12, but again, I like 24. So I guess I'll see you this time tomorrow. Good morning. Has it been 24 hours already? Wow. All right, let's go ahead. Oh my goodness, this is not appropriate. Hold on one second. Okay, this is a lot more appropriate. Let's get started. All right, so this next step is gonna take a little bit of time. We wanna just make sure that we drain every little last bit of the amazing cold brew morsel of liquid away from the coffee beans. And then that way they will drain into the carafe below. All right, so we're just gonna push down and watch the magic happen. Because this step takes so long, it's just going drip by drip by drip by drip, what I tend to do is I get out the first pour, I pause it, get my coffee, put it back under, and let it continue dripping for the rest of the day until basically it stops dripping. So let's go ahead and do that, and we can give it a try and see how it tastes. So I pull out and up, that stops it right there. And I can tell you this so far, it smells amazing. So good, so good. But I definitely can tell also there's still a lot of liquid on top because obviously the coffee kind of settles in and the liquid kind of goes to the top. So really what we're doing right now is we're very slowly trickling that extra bit of water down through the coffee with force of just the gravitational pull. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take a little bit of this out and put it into my drink, and then I will go ahead and resume letting this drip through for the rest of the day, basically. And you may be asking, well, how long will this cold brew last? Well, it's interesting because online people are like, oh, it lasts 24 hours or whatever. I don't know. I do mine up to a week in the fridge, and actually the instruction manual for this system says 2 weeks in the fridge. I don't know if I would go that far, but I would definitely say safely a week once you've made this cold brew. And believe me, it will last a week in the fridge. I have not tasted really that much of a difference between, day 2 or 3 versus day 7. And also, with the amount that you're gonna be getting from this, and the fact that you're only using a small amount, this is gonna be a huge batch for you. But regardless, definitely be sure to keep this brewed batch in the fridge once you have extracted it from the system. I don't know about you, but this girl definitely needs her cup of coffee, so let's go ahead and make one up. So really this all comes down to taste and preference. I've got my glass. This is about 250 to 300 milliliters. And I'm gonna go ahead and fill it all the way with ice. This is my personal preference, and again, you can do this however you'd like. Then I'm going to fill it up about 3/4 the way with almond milk of my choice today. And then with the remaining bit, I will be putting in about 20 to 30 milliliters of the cold brew. If you like that really, really strong coffee flavor, go ahead and add more cold brew. And if you're not too sure about it in the beginning, go ahead and add less. But just keep in mind that a general size of espresso, like an espresso shot, is usually around 30 to 40 milliliters, and this is much more concentrated. So it's definitely gonna give you that big, bold flavor. Because the cold brew has such a unique flavor to it, a lot of people find that just adding it to a glass with ice and cold water just does the trick. It's like an iced Americano, but with a twist. And alternatively, if you really, really, really like it strong, you can drink it straight up. But again, err on the side of caution because this thing is very, very potent with a lot of caffeine. And like I said, once this thing is completely drained and the level of liquid in the beaker goes up, that amount will last a really, really long time because it is so, so strong and concentrated and packed full of caffeine. As if I need any more caffeine. I haven't even had my caffeine today, and already I have so much energy and I can't stop talking. And all right, focus. Let's focus on building this drink. All right, so I'm gonna fill my glass full of ice. And pour in my almond milk. And then I'm gonna grab some of my concentrate. Now, technically, I could measure it into this to know exactly how I want, although for this video, I'm just gonna pour it straight into the glass. That looks amazing. Oh, I just can't wait to drink it. Beautiful marbling of the colors. I would definitely say that's one thing that makes cold brew so unique and just so, quote, Instagram friendly, is the fact that it's just so thick and concentrated. So when you put it into the milk, it does that really beautiful marbling effect, which is just really great for pictures. All right, I'm gonna turn this back on so it can keep dripping. There we go. And I'm just gonna let this keep dripping all day until all of that liquid gold goodness comes out of it. All right, moment of truth. Let's find out how our iced cold brew latte tastes. Oh, wow. That is really, really nice. So ice cold and refreshing. Definitely something that I would want to wake up to in the morning. It's just such a unique flavor. It's definitely different than just an iced latte where they're pulling a hot shot of espresso. This is much more unique. It's got a really, really deep, true burgundy sort of undertone. It's really hard to explain, but I know that obviously there's the notes of the coffee that the company says, oh, it's going to taste like this. But the difference between an iced latte and an iced cold brew latte is just so very different. It might be kind of hard to understand if you've never actually tried an iced cold brew latte as opposed to a iced latte. But believe me, they are two totally different things, and the experience is definitely one to remember. And like I said, because this concentrate is so strong, you really don't need that much in order to flavor an entire thing of the drink. You know, the other really nice thing about cold brew that I've found is it doesn't take a lot of sweetness in order to make it sweet. So when you pull a shot of espresso and it gets really, really hot, sometimes it has that higher acidity or kind of twanginess to it. But the nice thing about cold brew is it's really nice and balanced. It's one of those things that you can just be drinking all day long. It's really nice and smooth, which is one thing that I really like about the coffee from the cold brew technique. That's really nice. Well guys, thanks so much for joining me today as I showed you how to make cold brew coffee at home the easy way. I really hope that you found this information valuable. Please feel free to leave a comment below and let me know. Do you like cold brew coffee? Have you ever made it at home before? What kind of system do you use? What kind of coffee do you prefer? And how do you like to drink it? And while you're there, please feel free to click that like button and subscribe. I bring you a brand new drink video every week, and I would love for you to be part of the YouTube family. See you soon.